Hi guys, Mark Heinemann again here from Getgolfing.ie, and today we're down at Swing Studio Killarney, County Kerry, Southwest Ireland, taking a look at the number one thing you must do in order to pure your iron shots. Let's take a look. So if you don't want to wait to the end of this video to find out, I'll let you into a secret now. Okay, so what we're really talking about is more of a concept rather than a quick tip. Okay, so the concept being that your job as a golfer is to think about hitting the golf ball forwards, not upwards. Okay, so often I see here in the studio people trying to lift the ball or scoop the ball. So we see the left elbow bend and more so left wrist sort of buckle, right hand dominant take over, and we see the handle start to lean backwards. Okay, so there's really no need to do that because your golf club has loft. Some clubs have more, some clubs have less, but each and every golf club has a certain amount of loft. Okay, so again, your job as a golfer is to work on hitting that golf ball forwards, not upwards. Let's take a look how we can do that. So often attributed to somebody with an overswing or somebody who loses the lag on the downswing quite early, the flick, scoop, whatever you want to call it, is, you can see here at impact where the club head has gone past the handle. The handle's leaning backwards, the shaft's leaning backwards, and again, we're not really getting the full compression on the ball there. We're not getting that downward forward pressure. So again, losing distance and not hitting them as well as we possibly could. If we take a look at this one, we can see here that the handle is leaning forward, the divot starts after the ball, and again, ultimately the ball is driven forwards, not upwards. So you're all familiar with one of these, but not many of you will be familiar with one of these. It's a hockey stick, ice hockey stick, and not dissimilar to a golf club in such that each have a head, a shaft and a grip. Okay, but of course this isn't really designed to get the ball in the air or the puck in the air. It's designed to go along the ice. Okay, so the only way I can get a golf ball to go up in the air with this is to actually lean the shaft, lean the handle backwards and work in more of a scoop or flicking motion. Okay, so it's quite a weak shot, not much power, not much speed in that when we do that type of motion. Okay, so what we're much better off doing, whether it's a hockey stick or a golf club, is to always keep the handle ahead of the club head. Okay, so we want a certain amount of shaft lean at impact. Okay, that's what we see with all the best iron players throughout the years, is that they have a certain amount of shaft lean forwards. Okay, so we end up hitting the golf ball with a descending blow. Okay, what we've got to sort of get our head round is that we actually strike the ball slightly before the bottom of the swing arc. Okay, so as that club is still traveling downwards. Okay, so our divot ideally starts just after the golf ball. Okay, so how do we go about that? Well, one or two ideas here for you. Okay, certainly ball position first of all. Ideally, sort of 1/3 to my left and 2/3 to my right. Okay, always ahead of center because there is, or there should be, a transference of weight onto the left foot. So we actually move the bottom of the swing arc ahead of center to the left. Okay, so if I've got enough weight on my left foot at impact, I can create that downward forward pressure that's needed. Okay, so basically what we'll take a look at next is something you won't see too often on a golf course, but a paintbrush. So we've spoken about creating downward forward pressure onto the golf ball. This will result in higher ball speeds, higher smash factor, and ultimately more distance. Okay, so just looking at the painting action here, I'd relate that golf swing action I'm talking about there to how we would paint a wall here. So the brush is always leaning forward, the handle is always ahead of the bristles. We would never go this way. Okay, So this left wrist in this bowed or again supinated position, and it's more of a pulling action, never a pushing action, okay? So a pulling action is always much more stable than a push from behind. So if we can take that feeling of a paintbrush into a golf club, here's one I made earlier, okay? What we're going to look at is how we create downward, forward pressure on the brush, okay? So again, I'm always pushing downwards, forwards, and the left wrist stays in this slightly supinated position, we call that, okay? So rather than this type of action, okay, again, downward, forward pressure, just adding a little bit of body rotation at the same time in order to keep the pressure down through the ground, okay? So certainly, if you're struggling with the long irons, the key for success with the long irons is to hit down and forward, okay? Your job as a golfer, as I said, is to hit the ball forwards, not up. Let the loft do that for you, okay? So what we've got here, we've got a ball, a little drill I get you to do is I've got a chalk line laid out here. We've got the golf ball on the chalk line, okay? And when I hit this ball, I'm really looking for my impact to be ahead of the chalk line. You can do that outside with a tee in the ground. You can scratch a tee peg into the turf, draw yourself a straight line, and you're always looking for the impact to be to the left or forward of the line that you've just made, okay? Okay, so my name's Mark Heinemann. If you have any questions, please comment in the box below and click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thank you.